All right, I know Wyatt's apartment complex is a complete work in progress right now, but M80, this is looking like a completed project ahead of us. Even with the super sub having to step in, strong victory, 13-3 to be starting off. Roy, I mean, it was like they could do no wrong at some points, honestly. And they're just running it down. Like they're having fun, they're winning.
Yeah.
Looks good.
I mean, what can you even really do when the super sub is absolutely destroying you at every possible turn? Any outcome that looked somewhat winnable for the Hakikimori side, it felt like Weeded was just right there, ready to flood, ready to use util, ready to get multiple frags. And like, it really just did feel like the M80 show from start to finish.
And like there was a lot of weeded. We'll be talking a lot more of them too. But even just looking at the other pieces on this roster, Dan, there's a lot of changes going into. This is a brand new M80, but everything seems to be flowing pretty well already.
I mean, this is a good match for them to start. We didn't even see a lot of those set plays at the beginning of the rounds where we talked about the utility, we talked about what this composition could do, and it was really good, right? But we didn't. It seems like they didn't really need to show that playbook that much. They were honestly just running it down in so many rounds and getting away with it. Especially Weeded was so good. You mentioned it when we were mentioning it in the green room. One of those rounds, he just walks out A main, gets 3 kills, and those were the plays that we were seeing constantly. Even towards mid, it was a MORI that just could not get any space, any map control to work around. And for the other side of M80, it feels pretty good because you're having fun. You're doing a little bit of aim training as well with all those duels that we got to see, and you win 13-3.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think the relentless aggression by M80 didn't really allow Hakikimori any sort of space to maneuver or sort of kind of execute any sort of play, right? But I do want to point kind of a little bit of attention to the fact that M80's composition was just so oppressive on their defense side, giving them so many options to stall, to flood, to retake. And as soon as they got on the attack side, it felt like the same exact pace was happening on there too, which like they're walking up and then exploding with just so much overwhelming amount of util. And it just really did feel like it was almost impossible for MORI to even have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, for M80 heading into Challengers, this is a perfect little warm-up, whereas Hakikimori kind of seemed like they were thrown into the deep end, honestly. They're going up against what should be one of these top teams. They're going up against this terrifying composition, and they're going up against this weeded Tejo, Dan. I mean, we didn't necessarily get to see the most coming out of them this time because of everything up against them. Ghost did have a couple of nice little kills, though, which I'll call out, but it was just a tough one across the board.
Okay, it's time for the ACS check of the day. Feeling pretty good. 369 for Weeded, and then 331 for Okeanos. I'm not mad about it, and there's a pattern here in Challengers now.
What's that?
I mean, all the duelists are crazy, and everybody's getting over 300 ACS, which is more than you see in VCT Americas half the time, so...
Dude, I thought you were gonna say the team with the higher ACS is probably more likely to win. I was gonna be like, no. Okay, just stop. Just
well,
stop.
that too, you know, sometimes.
Yeah, just sometimes.
Once in a while. You're talking about all the duelists having over 330, and I'm looking at Weeded there with the 369. I'm like, yo, I want to see the duelist circle then, if that's what we're comparing to, but maybe one day. But we did want to talk a little bit more in depth of those two players, the two top players coming out from M80. Of course, Weeded is the 6th man on the squad, though absolutely performing. This, like, some teams, you see a sub and it's like, oh no, but no, you see a sub and you're like, hell yeah, it's Weeded, Roy, this is awesome. And Okeanos, who's for this team, great opening performance here today.
Yeah, Okeanos is a player that we didn't really get a chance to talk much about, but he is such a strong mechanical player. Like, even if you watch his clips on Twitter or like on socials, like, you can just tell that some players make the game look easy, and it's sort of that make the game look easy kind of mark that shows their true strength, right? Because their aim is just so crisp, it's so consistent, their crosshair placement just looks perfect all the time. And I think Oki's going to be a really standout player within this team dynamic because he's going to have so many chances to shine. And not only that, but he sort of has the blessing of many roles. Like, he can be cracked on any role you put him in. He's a very strong duelist, he's a very strong sentinel player. Like, really, it feels like no matter where you put Oki, he's such a strong mechanical player that it really won't matter much for him.
I mean, even looking back at where he came from, when we got to see him before, it was Blonda's Blend Esports team that we've I mean, Blinn Esports was a team that, yeah, maybe they didn't go all the way, but we were actually really impressed across the board with the quality of players coming out from that squad. So to see him now with some of these more veteran players that we've had here in Challengers and seeing how things are already started in their very first game, first Challengers appearance is awesome. They'll have to see that hopefully continuing on forward for them as we look into the next map of the series. This is where things get even tougher for Hakikimori. We're talking about, you know, they're going up against this tough composition. They're going up against this M80 squad. Then they also just lost their map pick and now headed into Lotus. This was M80's pick. And we talked about this M80, this storied stuff beforehand, Roy. And yeah, the firepower still seems there for the team. This is probably going to be really terrifying for Hakikimori fans.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to remind that Hakikimori literally just got absolutely stomped on their own map pick, so it's not boding very well for the second map. But I do want to circle back to the topic that we were having before, which is this sort of shifting meta, right? With you know, agents like Teho coming out who have so much global utility. I think we're going to see a shift, and I would not be surprised for M80 to run it back with something extremely similar on Lotus.
All right, all right. I mean, hey, I was a fan of the Weeded Teho dance, so I would be so for that. But even no matter what they're bringing out, the confidence just seems to be there today for them. So I'd love to see Teho and just like this new composition, but even still, I think they could run it down 5 duelists. Like they're just looking confident.
Run it 5 duelists, that'd be crazy. But
I want to see the Weeded duelist star. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he plays so well. We just talked about it. He plays so well, no matter what he's running, might as well. But it's a team and it's a map specifically that I want to talk about because I feel like we're not seeing enough of Vice. I'm wondering if one of the teams are willing to run it. We've seen pretty much every single Sentinel on this map. Now, especially recently, everybody's experimenting. We're continuing to see a little bit of the Killjoy, but they struggle a lot against the Teho. We're seeing some teams still playing the Chamber for other regions, and it's a couple of those options that they have. But I think Vice is so strong, especially because we've talked about that duelist for Hakikimori running and liking that Neon. So Vice is a good way to isolate that Neon, take it down, and especially if you're not used to playing against that in scrims, is going to be at Nightmare, and that's a good opportunity for M80 to take advantage and close it out.
That'd be cool to see. I always love some good Vice gameplay. It's so obnoxious when we already got to see a pretty obnoxious M80 to go up against. And again, expectations going into this next series. This is a really just tough one to be starting off for Hakikimori. I mean, again, it is a tough first map for them. You're going from being this premier team to now having to adapt into a team environment. So looking at who they're up against, I would like to see like these individual player performances being able to rival on the other side. But Roy, when we're going back through a couple of these replays from this map, it's a tough one. I mean, you could not have the deck more stacked against you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can just tell that all the M80 players are firing on all cylinders. But I think on the other side of the coin, I think Lotus is just a much more straightforward map. It really does feel like the formula and the way the map plays out on that map just is extremely simplified, and most teams are pretty caught on to how the map flow happens. So I think if there is a map where you're gonna have a chance and you can kind of control where you team fight and how you team fight, I think that Lotus is a very good map for Hakikimori to have a chance at that, and maybe take a get a kind of a good start, sort of like snowball from there, and have a chance to combat M80.
Especially too, hopefully now a little bit more warm in the server. This is the first time that, like, again, going into like talking about these players, this is the first time we get to see them. These are players that have worked up and made this way through Premier. So, you know, if I was all of a sudden being thrown into a Challengers match and I was having to go up against Weeded and B-Dog, I would I would just alt F4. Like, I couldn't do it, Dan. So maybe, you know, get a couple of the nerves out and we can see a little bit more revitalized now into this next map. And you're talking about a Vice you wanted to see. Let's pull up the agent select and see if maybe we can get something fun for you today, and a little bit of fun here for M80.
Please, Vice. Please, Vice. I want to see more Vice. Again, we haven't seen it enough in all of the regions, and I think it's such an overpowered agent. Yes! Oh my god, they listened to me. They listen. Both M80 and Hakikimori are going to be running this Vice. And no Neon, actually, for Demi. As we talked about, he's been playing a little bit of that Neon. Is going to be both of them playing the Raze, Roy.
Yeah, I think Vice is a very good pick into this current meta, just because her util is just so much harder to predict than it is for Cypher and Killjoy, where the counters and kind of the optimal placements for the util has sort of played out. So I think Vice is a very good pick, and it's really good for us to sort of point it out because it's going to be a key factor for the counter utility and stopping site hits.
Well, I'm glad we get to see some good agents coming on through and hoping for a bounce back from Hakikimori. Hoping as well that the construction crew at Wyatt's is on their lunch break so we can get a nice clean match. It's over back to our casters to take you through Lotus.
What's the verdict, Wyatt? Are they on their like union sanctioned breaks right now?
I think they are actually, yeah. They might be, yeah. If I go take a peek outside, they might be opening the lunch boxes, having they're packed sandwiches at the moment. They might be chilling because I'm not hearing anything right now. I think we're good.
Right.
We're in the clear, finally.
Honestly, I'm a little disappointed because it was hilarious, but hey, that's fine. We've got a game on our hands here, of course. This is not Hakikimori's map pick, obviously. M80 choose this one and keep this Taeho composition rolling. Also, like Dryad, justifiably excited about seeing both Vi's picks rather on either side here. So curious to see how that agent comes into play because we've seen obviously Killjoy be forced out a bit on this map in general, but also against Taeho, and Cypher may be losing some popularity somewhat too.
The Vice here is pretty cool, honestly. I am a big fan of the agent, especially, yeah, it's in this Taeho meta. Vice is just a really great go-to sentinel because destroying that utility is not not really an option when you compare it to Cypher trips, KJ mollies on the ground, that type thing.
I'm going to walk up here through this smoke, but the paint shells are going to dissuade Hakikimori for even bothering for now. And they've all pulled back from this A side of the map. Ghost here on the other side of this sheer won't have any backup should they commit, at least not for 7 seconds or so. And Bow's about to get real busy. Now, not much you can do about this one. You think you'd just be overwhelmed instantly, but Bow's actually able to extract some value from that engagement. 1 kill picked up by the Vice. Geo ready here on the site now is that Aftershock is going to prevent Hakikimori from pushing in and a smoke thrown in their way. So now, guess what? It has to be B.
Yeah, they're going to try to get in. That paranoia timing could be good.
Okay, let's try to swing this. Ghost is going to bring them down, but B-Dog is there for the trade. Weedog and B-Did have a bit of a crossfire. Weedog and B-Did? God help me.
B-Did, Weedog.
B-Did, Weedog, baby.
Huh?
Brain going up on heaven was gut, but Q's able to deal them a mortal blow with that Ghost. Ghost. And they ain't doing much about this for the time being. Forced back by that salvo. Weedid's probably going to push up in the smoke, go for some right-click action. I'm here for it. Or just waiting. There it is. Right-click gets the job done. A little bit of a tap on the spike to draw them out, and M80 get on the board first.
That's a tough little situation there for Ghost. That was a good little 2-man hold. Bao took a large risk being out all the way in C. If he didn't get his kill, then they might just be cooked on the round. And this is going to be the potential opening for Hakikimori. Will M80 do a little bit of trolling? Will they get too confident because they smoke them on map 1, throw some players away in silly positions, and then all of a sudden, maybe Hakikimori are able to get a couple rounds that might be their way in.
Defense side Lotus is the kind of situation where you can be punished pretty badly for those. Okay.
Yeah, well, Okeanos, I don't think he's going to get punished on this round, but maybe on round 3. We'll go back to the well
right,
over now.
We'll check back in with that narrative after that. For now, it is about the Reaper going from door to door. As Okeanos here is more than happy to hold the line, and you even got to be careful of those shoulder peaks because everybody on Hakikimori obviously dies instantly to a shot from this Outlaw. Ghost is the most forward line here on this A part of the map. Has M80 been happy to pull back from rubble entirely. The trap play here is B-Dog and Tree probably to set up a swing for Weedid. That smoke, though, will make it a little more challenging if no one is lit by this drone. And that's an orb tap. B-Dog has heard this now, has to assume that there are some people. He's probably waiting for this door to open, and he might actually just take this fight himself. Yep, okay. Cold line for himself, not bad. Only the one, though. Weedid wasn't really in a position to get involved quickly enough for his liking. And Okeanos has been closing the net slowly. There's Brain going down. Ghost might be forced to move here with the banking of this paint shell off the door. And they get caught once more in the sights of the Rays.
And at least up until now, oh, hey, they did get another kill. But I was going to say, they only lost the player with the pistol, B-Dog. But they're going to lose one weapon. Damage has been secured. They got a couple orbs. I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, this is why it's like an outlaw phantom. I think we has to keep the ghost in around like this, so not the most auspicious of outings on this bonus round. Oh, man. Yeah, as soon as that dark cover plumes, Okeanos is ready to take a shot. Ooh, buddy. This is the kind of series where a player like him can really shine, I think.
Definitely. The level of individual talent he has. Wow, this is so aggro with the Outlaw. Pushing up with the Outlaw. That's all right. And again, we're heading into silly territory.
As predicted. Starting to see some odd... What is this push up on the seaside? My goodness, yeah, Ghost would have been done from front or from behind, either way. Not much they could have done about it. Now that the A site completely open, Razorvine does slow things up a little bit, but Kaiser already got ahead of it. And so now it will be M80 having to retake from quite far back.
You can't really find a timing to flood. So anybody watching stairs. Great ultimate. Is that going to catch both of them? It misses. Oh, no.
Doesn't catch a single person, Wyatt. Not great here. Hakikimori needs to double down at the end of this round. Kaiser, that's an important kill to take. Teleporting across over towards the spike, but they are quite low. 55 health to speak of. Barnbow and Okeanos have rifles to their names. They have to clear that haunt, and, well, Brain swings into a two-player hold. Now, it had to be Kaiser to get the drop on them, but it's a gun round. It goes by the wayside for Hakikimori. And M80, again, continuing where they left off on Split.
Feels like in that 2v2, Hakikimori are just trying to do a little bit too much. So much repositioning that really wasn't all that necessary with the plant position. You know, not to nitpick too aggressively, but Kaiser could have maybe just faked TP'd, stayed in tree. Then they have a pure crossfire with him and the other player that was over and drop, Brain, and then they just weren't able to swing together. It really sucks for them, though, that breach ultimate just didn't connect onto the players and stairs. Otherwise, the round would have been done. Like, that early ult was the win con. Doesn't pay off, sadly.
We have a Marshall in the round for Bowie. We was calling him Brain for the last couple of maps, but either way, your boy is found Okeanos. He tries to creep up on that C side of the map. Again, quite punishable. It does leave M80 a little more thinly spread as they've opted to dedicate 3 players towards this B site. Still a lot of Vice util at C. Definitely enough to slow things down. Some of that Razorvine does get cleared.
Yeah, Bomba was on the fast rotate, playing towards C. How risky does he play though, Abo? There's just not enough util to support him on that. Satchel in, at least straight it out though.
Oh, buddy, Garp is in trouble. He knows it. Almost drops. Razorvine combined, of course, with their guided salvo. Pretty deadly. Kaiser getting back in the Hall's direction is very, very low. At least a rifle, though, to their name. They were able to recover that. As Bao eventually was brought down on this C site. What's the plan here? Q has no util left. And Razorvine finally clears will allow him to walk up now with a dark cover. If he can get back onto the site. Beatog's going to set this up the flashpoint now. Once again, playing off his own util. Going to be caught in the fault line. Tries to double back, but here comes the push. Still, Weedian is there. Time to Ghost and Bowie. Time is short. And 10 HP is all he has to work with now. It won't be enough. M80. Yeah. Another close one. Only 2 players up at the end of the round, but still Hakikimori pull up short.
I love that they synced up that paranoia. We did paranoia with Dog's flash coming through the wall. Just easy triple blind to take all the space back on site. Force Hakikimori to have to push back into them when they're holding the angles. Small little util combo, but it really paid off.
They didn't have to ask for much more there. So that last round, of course, is Okeanos pushes up into Brain's line. This is solid fighting, solid doubling up here on the site. Oof. Okay.
Unlucky.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Just too low on the HP. That wasn't even the full buy, though, for Hakikimori. So they've got that coming into this round. They have the Steel Garden to maybe force a player back off the site. Maybe try and get Bomba out of here so they could get a free C site. But they have really struggled against the Razorvines. They've been so effective at slowing the hits, allowing M80 to rotate their defenders over to help the site anchors.
Ambrosia. That one's getting closer up on your right there. As We Did is down by Ghost, but Okeano still wants to push the issue over at A. There's that sheer wall baited out. This allows at least Barnbow to move up onto the site should they want to challenge. Paranoia comes through, but it doesn't catch them. Still, they can't win it out. The fall line was a little bit late, but Arvo's able to win the duel anyway. Here's Kiyu, though, back in action. Flashy is going to come out from B Link now. This is going to be a huge problem. And Harper caught out by an aftershock. They are absolutely corralled here over towards this mound area, but Ghost has done well in this round, extracting 3 kills. And just gives up a bunch of damage to Kiyu there. 8 health to work with.
I have the spike. 30 seconds left.
He is locked in. That was a sick flick shot. Well, he was stuck in the corner. The taps this round are crazy.
He's going for this.
Oh,
unfortunate. There's time, of course, to rotate to a different site, right? But Ghost feels like he doesn't want to second guess himself and just commits to C.
Oh, too bad. That's the second time now we almost had a sick clutch from Hakikimori that's denied in the 1v1. The initial kill is so good. This play in the mid-round from M80 was awesome, though. The breach ult coming through the door from B-Dog as Okeanos is pinching through spawn, and then they have the rotate Caillou into sight. That was a really cool play. Would have been a bit cooler if Ghost bailed them out with another headshot, but a really nice effort regardless.
That could have gone either way. Still looking for that first round, Hakikimori. Spam through the box there is definitely taken We Did low, but he's still able to get a kill and get out. Absurd. Razorvine thrown down. This will further slow up Hakikimori. And their options are limited. Kiyu pushing up here as well on this A side. Suffice to say, he has pinged out the Vice.
Sends out the stun just to try and apply a bit more pressure. Retain control of Rubble doubling up now. Flash dodged.
That's Ghost being dealt with the would-be star of the previous round. And again, 52 seconds left of the round. Kaiser could be instrumental here in trying to open a path towards B, but there's a wrap here from Okeanos. He's going to catch him out. Garpa trying to double back. Okeanos, rather. Pulls out the grenades. Oh, he's just going to flatten them here. There's just nothing Hakikimori can do. Not with these weapons, folks. And M80 getting very, very close to a critical mass of ultimates. And they haven't felt the need to use them.
Left.
No spike to hand here for Kaiser.
Watching Okeanos is like a TDM POV right now. We're loading into Drift and he's playing Raze, just satcheling around taking duels. I mean, he's just maxed out confidence. Feels like he's the best player in the server right now.
You might be right.
Definitely maybe.
Finishes the job. Flawless round here for M80. 6 defense side rounds. Not usually the favorite half of this map, not in traditional metas, but things are a little bit different in the Tejo Bridge era. And yeah, look at these ultimates, man. Everything but the Rolling Thunder to make use of. And Hakikimori make a timeout use here. They've got, a Nightfall. So that Steel Garden as well to try and rely on here. But I think it's really going to be a big question of, guys, can we punish these pushing off sites constantly, right? We Did was in a pretty far forward position outside of B main last round. Almost got spammed down through the box and audaciously takes a swing, gets the kill, and gets out. And then there's the engagement that happened on the A side of the map where Q just forced Ghost away and eventually killed them. Like, where is this Hakikimori team supposed to find edges early in the round?
They definitely need to do a better job of locating the Vice, finding the Razor Vines, breaking those, getting the wall out faster, because when it's come down to the actual executes, the moments where they're trying to hit the gas into the site, they're slow to a halt. That has happened multiple different occasions, so they have to locate that util, break it earlier in the round, and then maybe go for a rehit. Like, early in this round, your one-off orb for your showstopper, all right, maybe we make a play towards Mound. Bow has been set up on C a lot. Get that orb pressure, try to get that util out early. Like, here comes our hit with the showstopper, and then you could slow the game down, maybe re-hit later, leave someone to explore elsewhere. They're opting to go towards A. I mean, a similar thing could occur here. We'll see. It depends on how aggro M80 want to get off the salvos that just deny that early space.
So once again, that early util salvo has made things really slow for Hakikimori. They still get a fault line to rely on, and of course all that breach util, so they've just waited out this early exchange. No one's getting across though to rubble just yet. That's been carefully cleared. All the time in the world here for M80 to push up on these other extremities should they choose to do so, but instead they're just containing right now. And there's a safe peek for Q that sees the walk up.
Dog ready to flash, but with the smoke going down, I think the little play through Baby Door is going to be null and void for M80. Yeah, over towards C, they just have that Arc Rose flash going off for information towards Mound. They're going to call a rotate for Okeanos. He's on the way towards A. Ava with the first blood.
Hotline came in. This is not too shabby though. Q. Oh, Q's close enough to avoid the showstopper. No, the classic takes the kill. Ghost can afford the showstopper of Okeanos now. They're trying to go towards the B side. Time is pretty darn short. Hakikimori unsure. Do they go back to A? They did get a kill there earlier on. It was Weeded that fell. And they decided to end on that part of the map. B-Dog still establishing some presence here. And Stairs is going to be something you have to fight for. Here's that Steel Garden now. Vinebound needs to make use of it, needs to run and take these engagements, and so he does. Nightfall, it doesn't matter. The weaponry is just better. Hakikimori's buy gets effectively nullified by the Vice Ultimate.
That Steel Garden was perfect. Hakikimori weren't able to get their players out the way in time when the flood came back in from M80. It was a good pivot back to the A site from them. That round was so winnable. It is so tragic that showstopper didn't find the kill onto Q and Baby Door. How does he go 1-for-1 there? He doesn't have a gun. He was reduced to the classic, bro.
Straight misses.
He got Steel Gardened.
B-Dog's looking was he turned
is
anti-flash?
tough.
He was looking the wrong way. I'm not even sure what happened. Look, pretty chaotic round. Does M80 allow Hakikimori, or rather give them enough rope to hang themselves with as they play back on most of the map? An operator here for Okeanos. The Haunt can force him back. Here's the pitter-patter, little footsteps headed in the Mound direction, and get even more ground. Razorvine buys some time. Paranoia won't connect. TP across here for Kaiser. They are serious about taking this fight, but Bao is ready to deal with the Omen. He's out of the picture. He's stunned up briefly. But Okeanos has his eyes trained on that waterfall position. Rolling Thunder, can you scale now into waterfall? No, Bao's going to be able to take Abu down. Full stunned, by the way. Still able to win it out. TU here should be able to get involved, and that's filthy. That is absolutely sickening stuff from M80.
Oh, that util usage to deny the push off the Rolling Thunder into waterfall was beautiful. The stun, and then right into the Paranoia go the MORI players trying to push forward. That was so good from M80. They're really making it look absolutely effortless. They've had a lot of great little on-the-fly utility decisions that have locked up rounds, pushed them over the edge when it felt like Hakikimori had a chance. Players are a bit too experienced, a bit too cerebral. They're just used to this environment. They're making it look easy.
While we're on a pistol round here, take note that this Qubit Academy Ambrosia game might be headed to overtime here. Uber and Co cannot salvage things. Gonna push up here. This operator getting value as there's just a lot of contacting. Wyatt, we're seeing from Hakikimori in such a round. Yep, contact. That one though, Kaiser's able to win out. Oh, buddy. Occasionally, right, like we saw the Haunt on Mound, but did force Okeanos off the line, forced him back to the side. So it's not as if Hakikimori are contacting every part of the map, but on a round like that, without the money to invest in the util, without enough util to just use more frivolously, they've got to play things out that way. I think Qubit are going to win that first map. That is crazy. Oh, no.
Oh, is that a 2v4 they're about to win? Unless
I think so.
Coburg goes absolutely stupid when the Cosmic Divide drops.
They're doubled up here to punish a defuse attempt.
Oh,
buddy!
Oh, there it is.
Man! Rob Moore! He was sandbagging the whole time, bro!
They were down by a lot early on when we checked in before, weren't they?
They were,
I can't remember
6-1 down, bro.
Yeah. Tough start, but they run it back.
Hey, well, if Qubit Academy can do it, can Hakikimori do it? 9-0 down in this Lotus map, second of the series course. And they are just getting churned. Well, they make for good mulch here on the grassy fields of Lotus. 10-0 here, obviously still in this first half, but Hakikimori have been able to find nothing to give them an edge.
These M80 guys seem seem pretty all right.
That seemed pretty decent. Good shooters.
Kind of mid-team on it. Mid, if I'm being honest. This is a little bit too easy for them. These guys are pretty good, man. They are pretty good at the game. We've seen a couple rolls early on in this first week, which, you know, that can be the case as we're just starting the Swiss system. But it's making me really excited to see M80 and TSM yesterday, how good they look like. These two teams clashing, if they're both 1-0, that's a juicy prospect.
Yeah.
A tantalizing game on offer.
And if we don't get that kind of matchup in round 2, then in round 3, when we got all our 2-0 teams or whatever 2-0 teams are remaining, that's when it becomes much more likely, right? So it becomes increasingly more likely that we get these, star-studded matchups in challenges as time goes. So you're guaranteed to get them, folks. Here, once again, same play. Notice this containing by M80. It's just a shoulder peek by Q to get information. They use some util here, like in this case, obviously it's the stealth drone, but sometimes also the salvo just to buy more time. We did just, okay, maybe an ill-advised fight to take there. Hakikimori really trying to push their way into tree. They're going to get there, overcoming Bao as well. And it's only Q who can really interject at this point, and he's smoked off here in Baby Door.
He is on the fast rotate. Okeanos has the op, but Showstopper will be the key for getting back in this site. Can he find anything? Doesn't look down at the set. Oh my god. I can't believe it didn't get the kill.
Brother.
What?
Well, it's been customary, at least so far in this series, for Hakikimori to eventually find a round where M80's, overconfidence gets punished. Okeanos tries to showstopper to the site with an operator in hand. It's pretty hard to see that working out well. And again, like a lot of individual fights taken, Weedy tries to fight there through door. I think there was at least some util to try and set him up. Q got smoked off. There was no one at stairs as far as we could tell. Yeah, that was smoked off as well.
Wait, I need to see this rocket.
Wait.
That stuff. Bros no Sturmy. You know what I mean?
Sturmy! Oh my god. The DMD reference. Come on. Oh, that's crazy.
Well, that's it. Sturmy was
it Quake?
Was it Quake? Yeah, that was Quake.
Okay.
That was Quake. No, I didn't hit him with like the MG
Sorry.
mic.
There's Stir and then
the
there's
rarer
Sturmy.
reference.
Yeah. It might be. All right. Last round of the half here. We got Steel Garden available here for Barn Bao. And now waiting to have an opportunity to make use of it. TP on the side for Kaiser, though. Bao is... okay. Sat on the other side here, ready to charge into the site while those primaries are disabled. Bao wants to fight. Shorty getting put to some use here. Zola Hakikimori grouped up. Trying to flash themselves back into the fight. They should have their primaries back now. They're low. No plant here. M80 just corralling them, taunting them, playing with their food, as it were. Rain tries to fight his way through there. Ghost with an op, finds one, and there it is. It's 11 and 1/2. Another tough game for Hakikimori. Like, I won't mince words with you folks. We've seen a couple of the same sort of defaults played into M80. And
Do you want to try and convince the viewers that this has been a close game?
No. Maybe
okay.
10 years ago as a caster I might have attempted that, but I think we can all see that this is brutal.
Not particularly close at the moment. M80, they're looking pretty good. Looking pretty decent. On all the executes, they've just contained the entire Hakikimori team in the choke. Not one player got past Ben. Everyone from M80 was just able to flood in together. Bombao was running through that seat. Like, I don't even think he realized he was seized. He just kept running forward. He was trying to get past it by sprinting. Yeah, this is, listen, it's tough when your Challengers debut is against M80. What more can you say?
Hey, you are in this league until promotion relegation, so plenty of opportunities here to make up for lost time, and you're in a Swiss league, so you do go up against opponents who also suffer defeats in their first week. Gives you a chance to, again, experience that more balanced competition, as time goes on, giving that opportunity to gain confidence and get those key reps. Here. With that.
Most importantly, perhaps, they haven't gotten 13-0'd on either map.
Okay. Yeah, to some that actually means something. That's true.
They can walk away without being the first team to get 13-0'd in Challengers.
Bao moonlighting is an initiator there with that Arc Rose placement. Just to set that up for the post plant here. Flash his team in should they need it. Sees here, but no follow-up. Looks like maybe Demi doesn't really have any paint shells to speak on. Here comes the raw fight, something that M80 have just been incredibly good at over the course of this map. When push comes to shove, they come out on top. Garp, a nice little double there from Upper. We did want to take the challenge. He's no arsoner, that's for sure. Garpa takes him down. And it's Ghosts V2 in a post plant to avoid series point coming up. And it's going to be a ring around the rosy for the time being. B-Dog likely has heard this. Ghost has nothing to look at. Fault line doesn't hit, doesn't matter. Q will finish the job.
Some decent shooting. Kind of taking advantage, at least for a moment, of M80 trying to play that so aggro, just get the round done. Some good shots from Garpa, but unfortunate. Dropped too many players prior to that. So much time being dwindled off the clock. There have been a couple moments where some of these players, look, they can definitely shoot. Ghost has had some nice little individual shots, dual wins here and there. We just got to see this team develop. It's too early on for them, too strong of an opponent. But when they get down into that next part of the Swiss stage, play against another one of the 0-1 teams, get some more practice in, some more experience, playing in these more important high-pressure games, maybe they can begin to piece something together.
But in terms of this match, folks, the writing essentially on the wall. Does M80 look like they've decided they'd like to clean things up here with a pretty slow start to the round, pretty stately. Elsewhere, Barnbow with the Bulldog is pushing up on that A side of the map. We'll be running into his opposite number, Ghost, who's been the standout player, I think, for Hakikimori over this map. With a pretty respectable impact over the game. This C-Stack might have worked out, but M80 do sniff it out.
A lot for Ghost to do over on this side. See if he can step up. Has done it a couple times. Has the Sheriff.
Narcros just flashes the players moving into tree, but there's nothing really to make use of that hindrance.
30 seconds left.
Okeanos here, paint shell's pretty nasty, and immediately Ghost just gets slapped down. These stingers need to be made use of here for Hakikimori. Brain, the only one who's able to find anything with it. 3 versus 2, and Arbo is the sole player on Upper for the time being. This should really be a matter of course now. Arbo looking to try and challenge. B-Dog handles them, and it's just Kaiser. Clean as a whistle for M80. A 13-1 finish to the series. Split was a little bit closer here, but it's very, very hard to see how Hakikimori was supposed to find their edges early in these rounds, or even in those clutch scenarios. M80 definitely the victors here in a very one-sided matchup.
Yeah, they're looking pretty decent headed into this season. Not a bad debut. We did just comes in as the sub. Sato's not here to play just yet and kind of goes crazy running around the map, just taking every fight on both Split and Lotus, winning 99% of them. Yeah, I mean, M80, they just look really solid, at least so far. I want to see them get pushed, tested when we get into the next section of the Swiss stage against the other 1-0 teams. That will be really interesting to see. And on the opposite end for Hakikimori, tough to debut against a team that was in back-to-back Ascension finals. Obviously, new players, but an org that commands respect, can get the top prospects. They have done that this year. And Premier, hey, it's about growth. This was the first match for them in Challengers, qualifying out of Premier. They've got to just keep at it, keep working at it. They're going to have a chance in the lower part of the Swiss stage. So we'll see if they can step up next week.
That's right. Of course, we'll have some words from our desk to sum up the game that was and move on to our second and final game of the day in just a moment. So stick around, folks. This, of course, is Valorant Challengers North America. Don't go too far.